Hi guys, Darth Deuce here, back with another Star Wars The Black Series action figure review. Today taking a look at Shin Hati from the Ahsoka series. A figure that I wasn't expecting to get this year. I was expecting to get her early next year. That's when a lot of the pre-orders that were currently up were projecting these to release. But when the GameStop, they actually had her and Balin on the shelf. I've already reviewed Balin, and now we're reviewing Shin. And these are two characters I really wanted to have as figures. They're probably a couple of my favorite characters. Probably are my favorite new characters introduced in the series. I thought they were pretty interesting and cool. And unfortunately, these figures, they are cool, but they are also pretty disappointing, mainly due to the sizing issues. The scaling is way off. I talked about it in the Balin review. I'll do it again here. So this review might be a little repetitive in some ways. But let's just take a look at the Sculpt and Paint first, because I will say, from a Sculpt and Paint perspective, she looks pretty nice. The head sculpt looks really good. It looks a lot better than the promo images made her look, honestly. The face print is really nice, actually, and the face sculpt, I think, is really close to the actress who played Shin, Ivana something. I can't remember the last name. I think it looks really good. The hair, I think it's sculpted nicely. I don't know if it just needs a wash of some sort of paint or something, but it does come off maybe a little too plasticky. Like, kind of comes off of her just having a chunk of plastic on her head. I don't know. I think maybe a paint wash would have helped a little bit to make it look maybe a little more realistic, but it's not too bad. She does have the Padawan braid which is kind of nice. But overall, it looks pretty good and definitely looks better than I thought it was going to look, honestly. The rest of the figure is pretty cool. Some nice sculpted detail on her tunic there, and the armor is nice with actually some nice, really nice paint wear and tear and weathering and detailing put on that. I'm pretty impressed with that, actually, because, honestly, I wouldn't have really expected that from Black Series. Some nice details on the little doodads on her gauntlets there. Looks cool. It's cool. The belt looks nice, the belt buckle, and she got some more armor hanging on the sides of the belt there. You got the lower robe, which is of a soft-ish plastic, but not super soft, actually. There's not a ton of give there. But it has some nice sculpted and painted detail. And there's cuts on the side. And the legs are pretty basic looking, but she has some knee guards. And then some shin armor that has some more of that nice silver weathering and detail painted. And the painted straps are a nice detail as well, that we don't always get with Black Series figures. So I think from a look perspective, she looks great. I won't lie. I'm a big fan of how this figure looks. In terms of articulation, you got a dumbbell joint at the base of the head as well as the neck. Looks up a little bit, not too crazy. Looks down an okay amount. Pivots okay, and then rotation. There is some hindrance because of the hair sculpt. Hinges at the shoulders. They go out. There is a butterfly joint that actually works half decently. At least in terms of Black Series, works half decently. The shoulder armor is attached like Stormtrooper shoulder armor. It is like a ring sandwiched between the pegs, so it does rotate with the arm, which is nice. Single hinges at the elbows that do move past 90. That's pretty cool. Both wrists have a swivel and a hinge wrist. Unlike Balin, who had the new ball joints, she actually has the old hinges. I don't know why she didn't get the ball joint treatment either, but at least she has the hinges, the proper hinges. That's all I really care about. Torso joint goes back not very far. Crunches forward a little bit. Pivots a bit, and then mainly just rotation. Hip joints, they do kick forward, a bit hindered by the plastic lower tunic, but they do have quite a bit of spread. She has the new style hip joint that does rotate a bit. Single hinges at the knees that move about 90, and then hinges at the ankles that move up just a bit. The sculpt gets in the way of this articulation. Same thing with going down. It just goes down a little bit. And then rockers, which move pretty good for ankle pivot. So pretty decent articulation. Nothing, you're not going to be like at crazy dynamic poses because of the plastic lower robe tunic thing going on and some articulation hindrances. But for the most part, it's, it's good enough for me anyways. In terms of accessories, if she wants to stand, she does not come with much. It just comes with her lightsaber. Wish she would have came with her robe. It's a bit unfortunate that she does not. But the lightsaber hilt is painted and sculpted pretty nicely. Do have the blade there. It is made, Balin's hilt was the same. For some reason, they made their lightsaber hilts really gummy. I don't know why. I don't love that because it makes it kind of a bit more difficult to get it in their hand. Also, one thing I forgot to mention in the Balin review that I'm going to mention here is that the blades are pretty much red. In the show, they were orange, like orange reddish, like orange with like a red hue or something. It's hard to explain. But here, it's pretty much red. I mean, if I take like Merrick's lightsaber, it is a lighter color than Merrick's deeper red, but I don't know, not by much. They both look red to me. So I wish this, I don't know, maybe it's too difficult to do in more orange for a lightsaber blade in Black Series, but I feel like they could have gotten it closer than this. It just looks like a lighter red, not really the orange that was in the show. But she can't hold it. She's a trigger figure for some reason. I don't remember her ever using a gun, but I guess you could have her use a gun if you want to. She holds it fine. Looks good. Interestingly, her right hand is a trigger hand, and then her left hand a more kind of like open hand, like gesturing hand, which is kind of interesting. It's still in like a half grip, so you can still get like decent looking two-handed poses, but you can kind of do like some forced choke or like forced gripping stuff with the other hand, which I think is kind of cool. The blade can be removed from the hilt, of course, as per standard Black Series stuff. She does have a hook on her belt here, and you can just hook it in there. It just kind of sits on there. And that looks good. So yeah, accessories, not terrible, but I do wish she would have came with that robe. But now we get to the scaling, and like I said, the scaling is way off on this figure. First of all, here she is with Balin. And Balin should be significantly taller and bulkier than her, and she is like the same size. So yeah, the scaling here is way off. It looks like individually they look pretty good, but together with the scaling off, it just looks so out of place. So that really sucks. That's a really big flaw. And that will probably be a deal breaker for some people, and I don't blame them. But it's not only the fact that Shin is too tall, she also just looks too big. And you'll see it when I compare her with another figure. But not all, she's too tall and she's too, like, the head seems too big. The whole body proportions, just she almost seems like she's scaled for another line, like a 7-inch scale line. Like, it just, yeah, makes no sense. Here she is with Merrick, who is about the same size, and she should probably be a little shorter than Merrick. Oops. Here she is with Morgan Elsbeth, and she is like looks massive next to Morgan Elsbeth. She definitely should be more like closer in size to Elsbeth for sure. And man, I swear this figure has never had issues standing before, but now it doesn't want to do it. Here she is with Ahsoka. Again, it does not. This one doesn't look. I don't know. She's still like taller than Ahsoka. It doesn't make any sense. And then the main one is here she is with Ahsoka, and she is significantly bigger. Not only, like I said, not only taller, but she just looks bigger. Her head looks bigger than Ahsoka, man, Sabine's. It's been a long day. Head is bigger than Sabine's. There's everything, like proportionally, she just looks bigger. Like she's from a different scale. It's just, yeah, it's weird. One thing you can do with this figure, credit goes to Landspeeder Luke here on YouTube. Check out his channel. I think he has a video for it, and you can check out how that works, how this works. But if you have a Costco Reeves figure or a Bo-Katan figure, you can take their upper legs off and swap them onto this figure, and it actually shortens her down. And because she's got this robe piece, they're not super obvious looking. So you can get the figure looking a bit shorter. But even with the shortness, the figure, I think, proportionally will still look a little odd, look a little too big. It's not a perfect fix by any means, but it will make it look better. I have those figures, but I don't want to cannibalize them for that. So for now, my Shin's just going to be out of scale. It is what it is. But yeah, overall, I think it's, aside from the scaling, if you disregard the scaling issues, it's a good figure. It has decent articulation. The Sculpt Paint's pretty well done. I wish it came with the robe, but she has her lightsaber. It's not bad. It's just the scaling. So for me, with Balin and Shin, they're two of my favorite characters from that new characters from that show. I wanted to have figures from them regardless. I don't regret picking up this figure. I still like it. It's just, yeah, really a lot more disappointing than it should have been. Like these Balin and Shin honestly probably should have been in contention for top 10 Black Series figures for me for the year, and now they're just not even close. because of that scaling, unfortunately. But if you really want a figure of Shin right now, unless you're a customizer, this is pretty much your only option. So I'd recommend picking it up if you really want a figure of Shin. Otherwise, if you're not too crazy about getting this figure right away or at all, it's an easy pass. Maybe wait for another figure to come out. I'm hoping that Vintage Collection will take a crack at Balin and Shin and hopefully get the scaling right. Time will tell, and we'll see. I'd be pretty surprised if we don't get these guys in TVC, but you never know. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.